Okay, everyone, good morning. Welcome back to economics class. The today's first activity is giving you art integrated projects that you want to complete within 4 to 5 days. There, okay. So please write down the topic here. That is from economics chapter number 2, microeconomics. Okay, microeconomics chapter number 2. Name of the chapter is consumer behavior. Consumer behavior. Write down. Next one, the topic demand for various goods in relation with the change in culture and climate. Demand for various goods. Okay, demand for various goods in relation with in relation with change in culture and climate. Change in culture and climate. So it is a topic art integrated project related with a program by CBSE. Okay, that is Ek Bharat Shrestha Bharat. Ek Bharat Shrestha Bharat. That's what the name of the program. And you know that the culture and the climate of these two states, our parent state is Himachal Pradesh, right? Himachal Pradesh. So compare these two states, Kerala and Himachal Pradesh. We know that the culture and the climate of these two states are totally different. Totally different. Okay. So we already studied about the various goods like what are the normal goods, complementary goods, inferior goods. Okay. So such kind of goods plus the goods that we are consuming regularly. Okay. Differences we are able to find. Clear or not? Okay, in food habit we are able to find differences. In the costumes we are able to find the differences. Okay, like that the various differences are there. Such kind of things you have to find out and want to complete a program or an integrated project. It's a collage actually. You know what is a collage, right? Right. Okay. So complete a collage. We can use pictures. Clear? Okay. Cuttings from the magazines or newspapers. Okay, such informations you can use to complete that. Okay, so just keep that idea in your mind. Okay, so complete the task within 5 days. Okay, now we will go to the chapter. Chapter 5, market equilibrium. Market equilibrium. Okay, so we studied about what is mean by equilibrium, what is demand, what is market demand and market supply. Okay, how these changes will occur on supply and demand to create the equilibrium. Okay, the invisible hand by Adam Smith. Okay, and a number of things from this chapter is discussed already, and the different calculations, different graphs, and I'm thinking that we are here at wage determination, right? Yes or no? Okay, so wage determination in labor market, in a labor market. That's what the topic we are discussing. Okay, the last class we discussed almost half of this particular topic called wage determination in the labor market. So, demand for goods in the market. Okay, like that, demand for labor is there for the firms. Clear or not? Clear. And who will supply the labor? Who will supply the labor for the firms? Tell me. The labor is available in the market to purchase. Yes or no? Firms. Is that a good? No. Right. So firm cannot purchase the labor from the market directly, right or not? It's not a physical good, right? Yes or no? Then who will produce this labor or who will give this labor to the firms there basically? Who is that? The households, right? Households. So each household is able to provide this labor. Clear. Why these people are working? What's the reason behind that? Why we need a job? Tell me. Why we in need of a job? What is the reason? So if you ask a question to you people, why people are learning, the first answer is like this. What is that? To get a job. To get a job. All right. Then why this job? Huh? Aditya, what is the reason for this job or employment? So connection is broken, I think so. Okay, tell me, Mr. Karthik, why you need a job?
To earn money to survive.
To earn money to survive, right? Okay, so you did a job for one day and you got a 10 lakh rupees, 10 lakh rupees for one day job. The next day, what will you do? You go for the same job or you will take rest? Karthik, got the question?
I go to the same job.
You will go to the same job. All right. Why? So you got 10 lakh rupees there for only doing job for one day. The next day you can take a rest, right? You can spend that, right? Tell me. You can spend that money on leisure or recreational activities, right?
Yes.
Yes. Then why you're going to job again?
Uh, uh,
No answer, so Mr. Karthik. Tell me, Karthik, why it is so? Tell me, are you greedy? Want to make more money? Huh? So tell me, Karthik, any answers
no,
are there
sir.
with you?
What is it?
Tell me first.
For job security.
Job security. Okay. So in the present situation, 10 lakh rupees is a huge amount, right or not? Yes or no? So you can live there with that nearly 1 or 2 months, okay, without any tension. You are able to lead the life there, right? Then again, why you are going for the next day for the same job? Huh? Okay, want to create more money, right? So if you're taking rest in the second day, means what will happen there? If he go for the job for the second day, also he's able to receive the 10 lakh rupees there. The first day he got 10 lakh, and the second day, if he goes so, he will get again 10 lakh rupees. If it's not go so, what will happen there? What is the value of the holiday for Mr. Karthik that day? The second day, if he not going for the job, what is the value of that holiday? Anybody?
10 lakh.
10 lakh. Understanding or not? So it is basically termed as compensation, right or not? So you are going for the work, going for the work. As a result of that, you are getting a money there. If you are not going or taking leisure means you will not get it. You will not get that amount, right or not? So it is the next best opportunity to go to work to get money there, get money. So if you are not going, so your leisure time is so costly. Okay, so you are receiving a huge salary, and you're taking leave means your leisure is very costly. Your leisure time is very costly, right? Clear or not? Okay, so just to keep that in your mind, that's what the supply part of labor, supply part of labor. In first case, we are discussing here only the demand part of labor, wage determination in the labor market. Okay, how a company or a firm will fix wage rate. Okay, here you can see that wage rate we are able to denote with the letter W here, W. So wage rate is always equal to, you can see, MRPL, marginal revenue product of labor, MRPL, marginal revenue product of labor. And MRPL is always equal to marginal revenue multiplied by marginal product of the labor. Okay, marginal product of the labor. Okay, so just to keep this equation in your mind. Okay, and already we studied a number of these aspects like marginal revenue and marginal product for labor in the previous classes. Since we are dealing with a perfectly competitive firm, marginal revenue is equal to the price of the commodity, first of all. Okay, the perfective competitive condition, the marginal revenue of the firm is equal to the price of the commodity, right? Okay, so you can see here, recall from chapter number 4, that for a perfectly competitive firm, marginal revenue equals to price. There we studied a number of different type of calculations to find out that and prove that. Okay, we proved also, and hence marginal revenue product of labor, that is a MRPL, marginal revenue product for labor, MRPL. Okay. In this case, is equal to the value of marginal product of labor. Marginal product of labor. Clear or not? That is VMPL, value of marginal product of the labor, product of the labor. Okay, just to keep that idea in your mind. So here, marginal revenue is equal to the price of the commodity. Marginal revenue equal to the price of the commodity. And hence, marginal revenue product of the labor in this case is equal to the value of marginal product of the labor. Value of marginal product of the labor. That's what the VMP for the labor, VMPL. Okay. As long as VMPL is greater than the wage rate, okay, value of marginal product of the labor is greater than the wage rate, the firm will earn more profit by hiring one more unit of labor. Okay, so here you can see that the value of marginal product for labor is greater than the wage rate. Okay, greater than the wage rate, which means the labor is able to produce more goods. It can create more profit for the firm, more profit for the firm. So firm will add extra labor. Firm will add extra labor. All right, just keep that idea in your mind. The extra labor is able to produce more output, which will create more profit for the firm. So firm will appoint or give chances for more labors, Okay. Next condition, VMPL. Okay. Value for marginal product for labor is less than the wage rate. Less than the wage rate. So productivity of or value of the productivity of the marginal labor is less than the wage rate. Less than the wage rate. The firm can increase her profit. The firm can increase her profit by reducing a unit of labor employed. At that time, the firm will reduce the labor because there is no much productivity from the side of the labor. So the firm want to reduce the labor to improve the profit. Improve the profit. Clear? So just to keep this idea in your mind, right? Okay, that's here. VMPL, value of marginal product per labor. Okay. So given the assumption of law of diminishing marginal product, we know that. If you are, so just to keep this idea in your mind up to here. And one more condition we studied already. What is that? Law of diminishing marginal product. Diminishing a marginal product. Okay. If you are adding extra labor or extra input, up to a limit, the firm is able to produce more, okay, or able to create profit. But after that limit, the profit of the firm or the productivity or the output will reduce. Output will reduce. Okay. So the fact that the firm always produces, W, wage rate always equal to VMPL, wage rate always equal to value of marginal product for labor. So always the firm will keep this in their mind. Okay. Or else it will lead to a problem called diminishing marginal product. The output will reduce. Hence, the profit also will reduce. Okay. So, produce at W is equal to VMPL implies that the demand curve for labor is downward sloping. So, DL, demand for labor for the firm, it is always downward sloping because of this idea of diminishing marginal product. Diminishing a marginal product. So, demand curve, it is a downward sloping one. DL, downward sloping. Okay. So, just keep this idea in your mind. Okay, demand for a labor, that curve is always downward sloping. To explain why it is so, let us assume at some wage rate W1. Just imagine the wage rate is W1. Okay, here you can see. Okay, demand for labor is L1. Demand is L1, demand is L1. Now, suppose the wage rate increases to W2, wage rate increases to W2. Okay, to maintain wage minus VMPL equality or wage VMPL equality, VMPL should also increase. Clear or not? Okay, value of marginal product for labor also should be increased. The price of the commodity remaining constant. So here we want to understand one thing that the price of the commodity that the firm selling is remaining constant because it's a perfective competitive situation there. Okay, so since the firm under consideration is perfectly competitive, it believes it cannot influence the price of the commodity. So in perfectly competitive system, we already studied that that's an imaginary condition where price of the commodity is not changing, only the inputs and outputs are changing there. Okay, so the price of the commodity remaining constant. This is possibly only if MPL, marginal products for labor, increases, which in turn implies that less labor should be employed owing to the diminishing marginal productivity of labor. So related with the marginal diminishing productivity of labor, here wage rate increased, so definitely the firm will reduce the labor to maintain the profit because they are unable to increase the price of the commodity. Clear or not? The price is constant, so always the firm will decide to decrease the number of workers. Just keep that idea. Hence, at a higher wage, less labor is demanded. So the conclusion is at the higher wages, less labor is demanded, thereby leading to a downward sloping demand. So higher the wages, less the demand for the workers. Okay. The wage rate is too high, the demand for a labor will not decrease. That's why this demand curve for labor, it is downward sloping. Okay. To arrive at the market demand curve from individual firms demand curve, we simply add up the demand for labor by individual firms at different wages, and since each firm demanded less labor as wage increases. Okay, so whatever may be the market condition, we are able to find this particular scenario. What is that? The wage rate increases, definitely we are able to find a situation in the market, in the firms there. What is that? The demand for labor will decrease. Okay, so the market demand curve is also downward sloping. Okay, so this is the idea related with the demand for labor. The simple idea it is, what is that? Okay, wage rate increases, definitely the firm will reduce the number of workers to maintain the profit in a perfect competitive condition because the firms are unable to increase the price of the commodity, right? Unable to increase the price of the commodity. Yes or no? Okay, so they will reduce the number of workers. That's what this graph says. Okay, this is the diminishing curve of labor. Okay, downward sloping one. Okay, next one. Having explored the demand side, we now turn to the supply side of labor. As already mentioned, it is the householder which determine how much labor to supply at a given wage rate. So, who will fix the number of workers in the firms there? That is, or that are the households. Okay, from each house, a number of workers are going for a different industries or different firms there. So they will fix the supply, or they will create a supply for the given wage rate. Okay, their supply decision is essentially that a choice between income and leisure. I already told you that. Okay, the supply of labor is related with the choice of income and leisure. Okay, people can choose work, okay, to get money, or else they can sit simply at home. They can enjoy their leisure time, right? Two choices are there. That's up to the person, up to the people. Their supply decision is essentially a choice between income and leisure. On the one hand, individuals enjoy leisure and find work, and on the other, they value income for which they must work there. Okay, so two conditions are there. In one condition, they want to go for work to earn money, or the next condition is what they can sit at home and they can enjoy their leisure time. So there is a trade-off between enjoying leisure and spending more hours of work to derive the labor supply curve as a single individual. Let us assume at some wage rate W1, the individual supplies L1 units of labor. Now, suppose the wage rises to W2, this increase in wage rate will have two effects. Okay, so the wage rate increases, more supply of labor will be there, right? Okay, example, one day, okay, for example, day one, the wage rate is 100 rupees. and day 10 that is increased to 200 rupees. So this wage rate will attract more people to provide work, provide labor. Okay, right or not? Yes or no? So more people will get attracted towards that particular wage rate, and many people will go for work. So if they are sit at home means the payment for their leisure time is 200 rupees, right? Clear. They are going for job, they will get 200. If they are enjoying their leisure time at home, they will lose that 200. So that's what the cost of their leisure time. That is 200 rupees. That is also equal to the what is that? Wage rate. So this increase in wage rate will have two effects. So always you want to think there are two effects are there for the increasing wage rates. Okay, increasing wage rate have two effects. What are they? What are they? Can you tell me? So already we discussed that. There are two effects are there for increasing wage rate. Two effects are there. Already we discussed that. Already we discussed that in the class. I asked the two questions to Mr. Karthik. What are these two effects? What are the two effects of increasing wage rate? Tell me. Anybody, just use your common sense and speak.
We'll spend more leisure time.
Of course. So more money, the individuals are able to spend that, right or not? So they want to more leisure time. Okay, they can spend that for recreation activities, purchasing, okay, or what you can say, movies or other social programs like that. They are able to spend it. Clear? Their purchasing power will increase. Their standard of living will increase. So they will start spending more time on leisure or recreational activities, right? One effect. Next effect. What is second effect? So this high wage rate is always able to attract more people to that particular work, right? Right? So it will attract more people to work, and many people will do the same job. They will start doing that particular job. It will attract number of people from outside, and the second effect is might the people already received the money will use that for their recreational activities. Okay, this increase in wage rate will have two effects. First, due to the increase in wage rate, I can write all these things there. Asking for the examination, what are the two effects of increasing wage rate related with the supply side? Okay, first, due to the increase in the wage rate, the opportunity cost of leisure increases, which makes leisure costlier. All right. Right, leisure time costlier. Okay, next one. Therefore, the individual will want to enjoy less leisure. Okay, as a result, they will work for longer hours. Okay, so if they are taking leave or they are not going for work, they have to pay more for their leisure. All right, they are unable to create any money at that time. So it is too costly. The leisure time is too costly. So the people will work for more or longer periods. Longer periods. Okay. Second, because of the increase in the wage rate of rate to W2, the purchasing power of the individual will increase. So she would want to spend more on leisure activities. Okay. Both will happen. Chances are there. One, they will come to know that if they're taking leave or sitting simply at home means they will lose the money or so they will start working for more time. The second one, money is there with them, so they will start taking or utilizing their leisure time by spending more money. So she would want to spend more on leisure activities. The final effect of the increase in the wage rate will depend on which of the two effects predominates. Okay, so as per the individual, as per his preferences, okay, which of the effect is predominates, he or she will do the same. Okay. At low wage rate, that is a depend upon individuals. Depend upon individuals. Some people they are greedy. They want to greedy in the sense of they don't want to waste their time. They will work more to make or create more money. Create more money. So they will participate in that particular activity to create or earn more income. Earn more income. Other group of people, they maybe a kind of laziness will be there. So money with them means they will start spending that for different of other activities, and they will. Utilize their leisure time, right? Okay, clear or not? Okay, so two effects are there that is related with the individual's mindset. At a low wage rate, the first effect dominates. Okay, so next we are going to discuss that. At a low wage rate, the first effect dominates. Okay, in the sense of only low wage rate is there. So if they're sitting at home means again that low wage rate also they are unable to create. I mean, they will not able to get income or create income. So they will participate in the productive activity. They will go for job and earn money money. The first effect dominates. The second, and so the individual will be willing to supply more labor with an increase in wage rate. But at the high wage rate, the second effect dominates. The first and the individual will be willing to supply less labor for every increase in wage rate. So that's the difference between these two situations there. Thus, we get a backward bending individual labor supply curve, which shows that up to a certain wage rate, for every increase in wage rate, there is an increased supply of labor. Okay, so if we want to understand that commonly with the wage rate increases, definitely supply of labor also will increase. Supply of labor also will increase. Right? Clear? Wage rate increasing, demand for the labor decreases. So definitely, we want to understand that if wage rate increases, supply for or supply for labor also increase. Okay, beyond this wage rate, for every increase in wage rate, labor supply will decrease. Okay, so beyond this wage rate, for every increase in wage rate, labor supply will decrease up to an moment. I mean, up to a point, up to an equilibrium only this happen. Again, the wage rate is increasing like anything, people will lose interest to go for the job. They will utilize the money for some other activity. Okay, which you obtain by aggregating individual supply at different wages will be upward sloping, because the higher wage some individuals may be willing to work less, many more individuals will be attracted to supply more labor. With an upward sloping supply curve and a downward sloping demand curve, the equilibrium wage rate is determined at the point where these two curves intersect. Okay, so you are able to find here. Okay, clear or not? Okay, this is the wage rate and this is a labor in our ways. That's what L. Okay, small L, and this is the supply curve. Okay, it's moving upward, and the demand curve for labor it is moving downward, and this is the equilibrium point here. Any point more than this, okay, the workers will not go for job, or they will take rest or leisure because they are earning more money. Okay, just keep these ideas in your mind. So almost all the topics from this chapter is discussed. Again, any doubts are there means we are able to discuss now. So first of all, yeah, we know that what do you mean by market demand and market supply? Market demand and market supply. So here also we are discussing a perfectly competitive market there. Okay, so what is the condition here? The firms know that okay, they are able to sell the product. Is a product that is equal to the existing price in the market, nothing more than that, right? So almost all the time this produces, or the firms and the consumers will show the price taking behavior. Okay, so tell me, Anjo, what is this price taking behavior of the firms and consumers? Price taking behavior.
They want to get the product
Hmm.
lower than the original price.
Hmm. Who? Consumers. Hmm. Then then Grishma Joshi, are you there, Grishma? Grishma, are you there? Ashish, when you tell me then, Ashish, what is price taking behavior of the firms and the consumers? So connectivity issue. Hello, can you hear me? Ashish, Grishma, no answers from your side. So anyone please tell me, what is price taking behavior of the consumers and the firms?
The firm will always try to increase or
Hmm.
maximize the profit,
Hmm.
whereas the consumer would always try to reduce the cost of a particular product.
Of course, simply speaking. So the firms will sell the product in the market for the prevailing or the existing market price. Okay, market price. Okay, or else they will try to sell more than that, right? Okay, but the problem is that if they are selling more than that, no consumer will purchase because everyone know the existing market price. Okay, clear or not? The same time, the firms are able to sell more units of the same product by selling that less than the prevailing market price. That also want to know. Okay, want to keep it in your mind there. But no one will do that. The second time, related with the consumers also know the price of the goods in the market. Okay, so they will try to purchase that in the existing market price or less than that, Clear? So always they will negotiate to purchase the product less than the existing market price, less than the existing market price. Clear? So the market demand means the aggregate demand. Okay, so there are number of consumers are there in the market. So all that demand, okay, is equal to the market demand, demand, and market supply means there are number of firms also are there in the market condition. So the total supply from the different firms for different prices, it is basically termed as the market supply. Is these two ideas are clear? Okay, so market supply is equal to the market demand. That time we will say it is equilibrium. What is that? Equilibrium. Market supply is equal to market demand for one particular price. So that's what this equation is important for we people. That is QD, can see here, for one particular price equal to QS for that same price. Okay, so QD for the price equal to QS, quantity demanded or market demand, is equal to market supply for a particular price. That is P star here. Clear? So that equation should be important. I mean, this is important. I want to keep that in your minds. Okay. Next, we discuss about two conditions: excess supply and excess demand. Write down two questions there. What do you mean by the term excess supply and what do you mean by the term excess demand and equilibrium? These three questions are important from that area. Okay, market demand, market supply, all in what I think so. What is market demand and market supply, and what is market equilibrium? Market equilibrium. Next one, what is excess supply and excess demand? Excess supply and excess demand. Excess supply and excess demand. Next important question. Out of equilibrium behavior by Adam Smith. Explain the idea of the invisible hand. Okay, so out of equilibrium behavior by Adam Smith. I explain the market and the invisible hand mechanism by Adam Smith. Adam Smith. Okay, hope you wrote that question. Next one, market equilibrium. Market equilibrium with fixed number of firms. Fixed number of firms. And this graphical representation is important. Okay. And this calculation finding out the equilibrium price. How to find the equilibrium price? Okay, how to find the equilibrium price? Right on. Next one, how to find the equilibrium quantity? Equilibrium quantity. Equilibrium quantity. How to find the excess demand and excess supply. 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 Next question, wage determination in the labor market, demand side and supply side. Okay, wage determination in the labor market, demand side and supply side. Simply it is, if wage rate increases, what will happen to the demand and what will happen to the supply of labor? That both questions from the wage determination in the labor market, Okay, rest we will discuss in the next class. So the people, those who joined lately, please note down the topics for our art integrator project. It is from the microeconomics textbook. Okay, chapter number 2, consumer behavior. Okay, the topic is demand for various goods in relation with change in culture and climate. Write down again. Okay, demand for various goods in relation with change in culture and the climate. Okay, the states are Kerala and Himachal Pradesh. Already told you, this project is the part of CBSE's program called Ek Bharat Shrestha Bharat. So we want to find out the information from both these states and compare that. Okay, and this activity is a collage, right? So you want to collect information from the magazines, newspapers, or internet sources. Clear or not? And create that collage and submit within 5 to 6 days. Maximum before Christmas you can submit that. Clear? 22nd or 23rd you can submit it. I think so. Okay, just do that. At the same time, the project should be no cost or low cost. What I told? Low cost or no cost. Don't spend more for that. Okay, clear or not? Understand? Okay, it's a collage. We can do with Windows Word also, no problem. But it should be perfectly aligned or perfectly created. Okay, fine. Okay, so this is all about the project there. So complete and submit that on or before 22nd of this month. Okay, fine everyone. We will meet in the next class. One more class.